So moving on. Will Dart also cover backend? What you mean, Will? We're there. Been there, doing that.
And in fact, a couple of weeks ago, I think, Chris, you gave a talk about full stack Dart, didn't you?
I did, yes. So Flutter Vikings, full stack Dart talk, and it featured on some of the Flutter newsletters as well. So people seem to like that. The whole notion is simply if you've learned Dart in order to write your Flutter front end, then why not also write the back end using the same language? And the functions framework, I think, already got name checked earlier in the call. My kind of recommendation to people to try stuff out is go and kick the tires on the functions framework. And you had some stuff from Tony Brugels there.
Creator of the functions framework. Just mention that.
Well, yeah, and he's got some great examples to show how that can be used with Flutter apps.
And also take a look at how you can create your own server with Dart in a Docker container, because Simon and I were doing that for an app I was playing around with in order to just run everything locally.
Yeah, we were doing this quite some time ago, actually. But if you grab functions framework, or just simply there's Dart from there's a Docker container called, I think it's Dart Scratch or Scratch Dart or something.
Well, so what's happened with the official Dart Docker container is it's supporting two-stage builds. So the Dart Docker container itself is giving you the SDK and a few other things that you would want to use to build Dart applications. But then if you're creating an AOT binary, you don't want to be carrying around the whole SDK in order to support that binary. And so the second stage of the build is giving you the pieces that you need to add to from scratch. So from scratch is just an empty container. If you're able to statically link like Golang does, then you can create binaries that you can just put straight into from scratch and run them. But Dart is a dynamically linked language, and so you need a minimal sort of layer of libc underneath it. And so what's in that Dart Docker image is a directory called runtime, which is that minimal set of libraries. And so you copy runtime into your empty container, you copy your application in on top of it, and you've got everything you need to run.
A few Linux config files, and away you go.
It is, and it can be tiny. Our secondary server is like 5.5 meg.
Yeah. No, I was releasing, so I was trying to talk to someone about like one of the reasons why we chose to use Dart on the server side for a project. And I was like, I either ship like PHP and or whatever the like Golang, whatever it is, or this whole platform over here. Actually, Golang's pretty nice, but PHP and a bunch of other stuff over here, and it was like a gigabyte like image with Ubuntu as the base or something. It's like, or I just ship the Scratch image over here, and it's like a few meg, right? You can do the same thing with Golang actually, but it's a bit bigger, but all the same, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it helps reduce the time it takes to roll out new versions or whatever, because you're just throwing less stuff around.
So just to anyone that wants to go see that talk, you'll find it here on this very channel. You'll find, if you go to the channel homepage, you'll find there's a Flutter Vikings 2022 playlist. And was it day 1 or day 2 you're on, Chris? I don't remember. Do you remember?
It was day 2.
Yeah, day 2.
Day 2 video.
And actually, let me get you a link to the slides if people just want to take a look at those.
Yeah, if it dropped in the private chat, I'll make sure it's shared.
Cool, okay, I've got a quick thing I just want to mention right now.